peace and prosperity. This is ESAIA Mystic and welcome back to my channel. I'm here with another message to help you free your heart and soul. And today we are about to talk about how to activate your air feminine energy and how your words are your wand. So your air feminine energy is a type of elemental power that I have discovered that every woman has, everybody has, right, when they tap into it. But every woman has the power to really twerk this, okay? And the air feminine is the woman that teaches you the power of using words and how we use our words and the way that we use our words. When we're tapped into the power of the air feminine, we understand that our words are our wands. We understand that we are manifesting every single second, every single day, just based off of the words we are speaking and the thoughts that we are thinking in our mind. We understand the power of our mind, okay? And so when this archetype kind of falls into a ditch is where she begins to basically become unconscious of her mind and her mental state, how she's using her words, what she's using her words to create, and also how those words can affect literally her life and everyone else around her. So it becomes more of a destructive thing instead of a deliberate and intentional thing, right? And not just destructive to others, but it's very self-destructive, right? So this is a big part of also understanding feminine energy and dark feminine energy, because, and the reason I do this is, go watch my dark feminine energy, what dark feminine energy really is video, and I tell you guys what I think, what I believe. But essentially, I believe that feminine energy is dark feminine energy, right? Dark feminine energy is just a way to talk about really what feminine energy really is, right? And it's the light feminine energy, the soft feminine energy, and all the other stuff that represents this kind of outer facet of feminine energy, but it's not the real true inner workings of feminine energy. So it's important that we understand these elemental powers, right? And elemental feminine energies, because these actually allow us to understand our access to embracing who we really are instead of resisting it and becoming destructive with these powers in the meantime. Because listen, this ain't about like you discovering that you have this power. You have it already. You already have it. It's already there. So either you get with the program, realize that you have it so that you can stop destroying your life and other people's lives and creating a mess out of your experiences, and you can start being intentional, you can start being deliberate, you can start being really being aware of what you're doing and how you're creating your reality, okay? So words and the mind and the mental is a huge part of that, and I go into this way deeper in my course, the Lilith Code. It's also a 13-week group coaching program. You have the option to either sign up for the self-paced course or the group coaching, or if you need a lot of support and you really want supreme guidance, okay, with your feminine magical abilities and also your feminine sovereignty, then I would recommend getting the one-on-one, right? Working with me one-on-one. don't have a lot of those spaces available. So make sure that you reach out to me if you are interested. The email is down below in the description. So this is the air feminine, right? The air feminine is the energy of the woman who embraces her mind. And she embraces her mind and her conscious awareness of the supreme being that rules over the mind, which is the spirit, which is the spiritual consciousness, okay, of who we are. So when we are in our mind is running us. When we recognize, right, and we can really tap into this third eye energy, we are not in the world, we are not in the world, right? We're not in the world. We are just looking. It's almost like we're looking and we're seeing what's happening, and we have authority over how we respond and move. So the air feminine is really here to allow us as women to remember how powerful our words are. And some women actually have, some women are just naturally inclined to already being well developed in other elemental feminine areas than others, right? Especially based off of your zodiac chart and all of those things, right? Like if you have a lot of air prominent in your chart, you can either go one or two ways. You're either you've either mastered this already, or you need some mastering, okay? Because you probably out here using your words for some horrible, just creating a ruckus, okay? I see you, Geminis. And Libras too. Aquarius is, but I see y'all, okay? So this is what you need to understand, okay? I was having a conversation with my mom recently, and I love you, mama, I do. My mom has a lot of drama, that she tends to come to me with about relationships and things going on and all these different things. And even if we're not she's not telling me about some scenario about what she did and what he said, actually present, happening, oh, this just happened, I will notice when we get into conversations that we will just be talking, and somehow we end up discussing subjects for long periods of time. 10 to 20 minutes, we're discussing how much drama there is in other people's lives, or how much drama there is in the world, or how much, how he said this and she said that, and this is why you can't do that, and these, that people need to grow up, and all this different drama, right? And not just drama, but also communicating about things that you don't want in your reality. You don't want to experience these things. You don't want this in your life. But for whatever reason, you are continuously you're talking about it, right? You're talking about it. And I remember after I just found myself in a situation with in a conversation with her, and she was telling me, we was talking for 20 minutes about how, how she, how her friendships are, how women have just been horrible friends, and how people have just been horrible people, and men ain't shit, and you know what I'm saying? I was dang, we don't spend nearly as much time talking about how great people are, how wonderful men are, how great of a friendship she's had, how wonderful the world is, and how great things are going in the world. We don't spend a lot of time talking about that. And I was like, I had a moment to myself and I was like, dang, I'm gonna have to start cutting my conversation short with my mama. But at the same time, I also realized that I have power in that situation too. I have power in that situation too, because I'm also, as I'm listening to her and as I'm absorbing her and present with her, I'm also agreeing in a way to whatever is being created by her. And I have options too, you know, just because she's my mama or my best friend or whoever it is, and we always talk about this all the time, and you know, they might get mad at me or whatever, that doesn't mean that I can't shift the dynamic of the conversation, and I can't shift the way that the conversation is going so that I can be in a creative process that I know is going to allow me to create the things that I want in my reality, right? Then I started to remember how in my earlier days, whenever people were having conversations around me, maybe not directly to me, but just around me that I didn't like, right? This is when I was living in New Orleans, and I'll do a video about, you know, reasons why I left New Orleans and yada yada yada. But I was, you know, in my energy, in my enchantress energy of, you know, I'm gonna fix you, right? I'm gonna fix you with this magic. So what I would do is I would take some incense. Usually it was always like frankincense and myrrh. Like that's like my favorite incense, right? But incense is important to understand when we're calibrating to the air feminine, because incense is ruled by the element of air. It goes into the air, right? Whenever you're burning sage, you're burning incense, you're burning resin, it's a smoke, right? And the smoke is kind of like a gas, right? And it goes into the air. This is also connecting to the air element. So believe it or not, if you burn incense, oils, resins, and things like that into the air, along with an intention, right, that you set, you can either speak it out loud or you can say it in your mind. Depends on what your human design looks like. I have, you know, a certain design type, so I already know which one is for me. But you can utilize that process to literally shift the direction of the conversation, the direction of what you are talking about, right? With these people or with the people who are talking around you, like, right? Because when people talk, they're creating a cloud. It's almost like this cloud of energy they're creating, especially if they have a lot of emotions backing whatever they're talking about. Think of it like a cloud, like they're creating this cloud, and the cloud can either be happy, playful, or it can be dense and scary, okay? So what you want to do in those moments is, say you're having a conversation with people, you know, and you don't like how the conversation is going, yada yada yada. Maybe they're not that close to you, you know, maybe it's not your mom, maybe it's just some people, right, that you're maybe related to, friends with, whatever. It's not a super deep relationship, but they come around, you talk. You can bring the incense around with your intention, burn the incense, and the conversation will start to shift. Okay, but you have to have the intention. If you don't have the intention, you just burn an incense. You know, I don't know if it's gonna work for you, because it always worked for me when I have an intention. So set your intention, set your thoughts, and say to yourself or out loud, you know, let's change the conversation to something that feels good. Let's change this conversation to something that feels better. I want to talk about something that feels really good. I want to be lit up, you know, and have the air, have the incense burning, just burning. And I promise you, the conversation will change. And all of a sudden, y'all gonna start talking about, you know, something that makes you feel really happy, right? Like the mood that you have will change with however the conversation changed. I gotta drink my smoothie. So that's one thing you can do, okay? Another thing you can do, especially if you feel like they will be receptive to you, because the instance thing is probably what you would do when you like, they are not about to receive anything I say. If I try to be like, you know, let's talk about this, or let's do it. If you feel like they will be receptive to you, then you can easily shift the conversation to mentioning the thing, like, so it's gonna take for you to identify the thing that is wanted, right, from that conversation. When you can identify things that are wanted from a conversation, when you are in the midst of a bunch of people, maybe just one person, talking about a bunch of stuff that they don't want, okay? Oh, we need to talk about how, you know, the world is ending, and climate change, and Black Lives Matter, and gay rights. Like, we need to talk about all of this stuff. And it's like, no, we don't need to talk about none of that. Actually, what is wanted from the conversation, if you can identify, or if you're even comfortable enough, right? Because if the conversation is just that uncomfortable, then you don't need to be around those people, okay? So and if you begin to change, right, your mind about certain things, you will naturally just not want to be around them, and you won't go around them, and they won't go around you, right? You'll gravitate to other people. So what you can do though, if you're around people that, you know, you love them and you care and you want to shift the dynamic, right, then you would simply identify what's wanted in that conversation, right? So if you're having a conversation about how men are horrible dogs, that all they do is like get on your nerves and ruin your life, identify what is wanted from that, right? Probably men that are, or relationship that is serving, right? That treats you very well, that serves you, that does all the things you wanted to do, right? If you can identify the wanted thing in the conversation and then start bringing up scenarios that you think of that are related to that, then it will completely change the dynamic of what's being created, right? So in my scenario, I realized, like, you know, that shitty relationships was like the key theme here in my discussions with my mom. So let's talk about, you know, let's talk about relationship scenarios that are really make me feel good, right? I don't know about what would make her feel good, but for me, I was like, oh my gosh, I started bringing up all of these scenarios in love relationships that I admire, like, you know, the Love is Blind couple from season 1 of Netflix, right? Wasn't it Lauren and Cameron? Oh my gosh, I love them so much. Let's watch some videos of them. Look at their relationship. They're so amazing. And, you know, things like that. And then, you know, you can do that with anything. You can go on and on and on. The number one thing is to just really notice how much time you are spending complaining basically about your life and about other people's lives, and just about the scenario, the way the things that you want are going, right? I noticed that, you know, my mom was spending a lot of time, and maybe I shouldn't even tell you guys about my mom. She might take this personally. Don't take it personally. The things that I notice, you know, is like when you spend so much time talking about the scenario, right? This is like activating the manifestation. Like, you could nip. It doesn't matter if you literally went through something that pained you. Like, the thing is, when you ruminate over it, like when you ruminate over what happened to you, when you constantly replay it in your mind over and over again, when you constantly feel like you need to talk to people about it over and over and over again, you are creating your reality. You are manifesting the exact same, like nothing can change, right? When the whole purpose of the air element in general and having access to people outside of you, right? And the being able to connect to all kinds of people all over the world, whether they're close to you or far away, is to birth new things. It's not so that you can be friends with everybody and have these great relationships with everybody, but it's so that you can create new things. So understand that you are manifesting. You are manifesting, you're creating. And when you activate and understand your air feminine energy, you will master the art of manifestation in the feminine way, right? So this is basically my synopsis, my little synopsis of how to begin activating your air feminine energy. What I notice the most is that women tend to just talk about the things religiously that agonize them for hours on end, and then they spend little to no time talking about what actually makes them feel good in life and dreaming, right? And you know, saying all the good, wondrous things. Then I look at their life and I'm like, oh, this is why your life is not changing. Like, because you keep telling the same story. So change the story, change your life. And if you want to work with me and fully activate your air feminine energy through my course, the Lilith Code, you can either do the self-paced version or you can do a higher tier version of group or one-on-one coaching. Send me an email. I'm going to have links available soon for you to pre-enroll in the course. And yeah, I will talk to you guys in my next video. Peace.